Hey nerds, welcome to the Nerd Rundown presents Val Kilmer. On today's show, we will pay tribute to one of the greatest and maybe one of, if not the most underrated actor of all time, Mr. Iceman himself, Val Kilmer. I'm Darren Simple, and with me today are some of the biggest nerds I know. Eric here.
I'm your Huckleberry.
That was that what you were talking about earlier?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that. And Morgan Santo.
Well, hello. Now I wish I had a
I was like, don't feel pressure.
I had nothing now.
You could have just said, I'm Batman. Just say, I'm Batman. It's the car, right? Chick sticking the car. Val Kilmer is an actor I've been wanting to dig into for a very long time. For more than just he's Batman in Batman Forever, one of my all-time favorite movies. But he's just one of those actors everybody loves in every movie he's in. He blows it out of the water. Even when he's not the main actor, he's the most beloved actor from the movie, a la Top Gun. He's never won an Academy Award, even though two of his performances are considered some of the greatest of all time in his Jim Morrison and The Doors and Tombstone, Doc Holliday. We're going to get into those movies, but it's just a real sham. This guy's never won an Oscar. So I do want to start off kind of with a little bit of introspective from you guys on what your thoughts on Val Kilmer are, because I've expressed mine numerous times all over the show. Eric, I know you love his movies. Tell me more about what you think about Val Kilmer as an actor.
Well, so he has an interesting reputation within the Hollywood community in that it seems like the people on the periphery of him.
You're on it with the big words tonight. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Eminem over there.
Never mind. It seems like the people on the periphery have a difficult time working with him, and so there are things that and I think he's a method actor, so I think a lot of people struggle with that as well. They don't really comprehend what that is. They don't really understand what that is and what that's like. But there are people within Hollywood, specifically like Warwick Davis, who played Wicket in the Ewoks. And then he played he played the opposite of Val Kilmer in Madmartigan, and just adores the guy. And a lot of people in Hollywood, the people that work very, very closely with him just absolutely adore it and think he's just one of the best people out there. But then again, there's like a split deal where some folks are like, he's kind of a weird dude, and they just don't understand his methods. Maybe they don't understand his style or whatever, or maybe they had a bad experience. Like so during the original writer and director of Tombstone, a guy who ended up getting fired a couple weeks into the show, was talking about how he had experience with Val Kilmer where they were talking about a scene, and one of the production people came up and the guy had a locust, like a live locust that was there on the set that they had found. And He was showing the director this locust, and Val Kilmer grabs it, throws it in his mouth, and eats it just like that in front of him. So the director was like, it was kind of a bizarre experience for me. So definitely like it's a
weird alpha move.
Totally.
Weird flex, but okay.
Weird flex,
but anyhow, so Val Kilmer definitely has a kind of an interesting reputation for being we'll just say a vibrant personality. He's got a vibrant personality and a definite method about how he is, as an actor and stuff. So,
well, I will say that I know that Nicole Kidman thinks his reputation should be all about his lips. She got to kiss him in Batman Forever, and that's after after the movie, during like the press tour.
He was very full lips.
It's all she could talk about. And as a fifth grader, wanting to see this movie so bad, I would watch everything about it. And I'm like watching Nicole Kidman talk nothing about it, about nothing but his lips. And I'm just like, I don't know how to deal with this as
how to process this
as an 11-year-old boy. Morgan, introspective on Val Kilmer?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, everything you see him in, you're always like, wait, was that Val Kilmer? Especially as of late. And then you enjoy him. Like, he does a good job. I don't know much about him on the personal side. I just heard like difficult to work with. Sure. And I don't know is that part of his falling out of where he was making big stuff and then all of a sudden he wasn't, and so I don't know. He has
part of that was his throat cancer.
Well, part of that was that, but well, before that, I mean, he fell off.
Sure,
pretty quick.
And we'll talk about kind of when that was actually.
Yeah, but no, I mean, he's a guy that I have no problem putting something on that he's in. I'll definitely watch it, and I'm excited for some things he has coming.
I think it's really cool that we have 3 generations of nerds here that really have kind of. I'd say Erickson and I are very closely aligned, but I think maybe, a little bit of a Venn diagram here. Literally, as I look at all 3 of us, I could draw a circle here in the middle where we all meet in some areas and we don't meet in some areas. So kind of starting off with his movie career, it wasn't long before he became big. And his first breakout role is just one of my all-time favorite movies, 1985's Real Genius. Chris Knight. What?
Don't skip over Top Secret. Did you never
I never saw Top
Secret. Oh my gosh.
But that would have been something to tell me in the beginning.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought you were going to start right.
Let me rewind then. Let me rewind.
Wow.
I'll start with you, Eric, in Top Secret, because I've never seen it.
You're not wrong. So you're not wrong. So Real Genius is his kind of breakout role, but his first role was in Top Secret, where he played Nick Rivers, who is a Elvis style pop star, who and it's a Zucker brothers film. So we're talking Airplane, Naked Gun. So it's that slapstick. It's that slapstick comedy. So if you like that style, then you'll love Top Secret, because it's full of those really goofy Zucker brothers slapstick comedy. And oh my gosh,
I've never even heard about it.
And there's a character named Chocolate Mousse, so it's good.
That's what I'll tell you. It's Abrams, Jim Abrams, and then the Zucker brothers, and then, like I said, Val Kilmer plays this. He plays this pop star Elvis. I mean, he basically is a ripoff of Elvis, but and he gets sent to East Germany and does
during the Cold War.
During the Cold War, yeah, we're talking during the Cold War years and stuff like that. So it's brilliant. It's super great as far as like.
I'm always looking for good Val Kilmer, so I'll check that out.
Yeah, and he's super young in it. Like, I mean, he's like that was his first role right out of.
That's his first role.
It was his first big screen role. He was a stage actor. He was known for his stage stuff before that, and so it was his first real big screen hit.
Has Alfred,
but then, right. Actually, it has Grand Moff Tarkin in it too. In it. So
two big
the original
names. So, okay, well, good to know. Top Secret added to the list.
I'm so sorry. Like, I thought you were going to start off there. I didn't.
That's my fault. I should have said, I don't know what Top Secret is. So,
so good. So good.
Good to know. I'm always looking for a good Val Kilmer add to my movie list. So, so then we'll get to Real Genius here in 1985. Just one of the most perfect movies on a scale of, for me, on a scale of 10, I'd have this as a 9.5. It speaks to my humor in every possible way. His character, his Chris Knight, his genius is really like, it feels like he could be this person in real life. Mitch, his buddy in the movie, just that young nerd that we all can relate to. The character, every character in the movie has an amazing part. The girl that Mitch falls in love with, to why am I blanking on his name? The bully.
William Atherton.
Well, there's William Atherton, but I was who's the kiss ass guy?
Chet. Is it Chet? No.
No, it's I'm gonna get it here in any minute, but William Atherton plays an amazing jerk in the movie, like he always does, and it just adds to that William Atherton resume, which is so funny because Ghostbusters broke. He chose that role, and then that's what he got cast as the rest of his time.
Right.
What do you think about Real Genius, Eric?
Great movie. I mean, I remember watching this as a kid. I think we had the VHS of it, and I remember watching this a lot. Not so much for Val Kilmer as it was because they had a B-1 bomber in it, and I just thought the B-1 was just one of the coolest things ever. But it was super. But he was so funny, and I remember watching him over and over again.
Kent,
and just how Kent. Yeah. So. I thought it was Chet. I knew it was something like that.
Chet is a bully in another 80s movie.
Yeah. He
can't really have a bully in these nerd movies.
Well, the Chet would be the brother in
Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
No, Weird Science.
The older brother in Weird Science. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So, Bill Paxton's character. So
yeah. Total Chet. Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember watching that movie and I was so enamored with his how fast his wit was, like how fast he was able to just come up with stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to be that fast. Like I want to be that fast and that witty.
Right. Yeah.
People, even as like a 10-year-old, I think I would have been like 85, 86 when I saw it, or whatever, when it came out, we rented it. And I was like, gosh, I want to be as witty as that guy is. Like, I want to be as fast and be able to deliver the line, because he just was so quick. And he was so smart, like he was like, those guys were just so smart. And the stuff that they did to each other, the fact that they took the dude's car completely apart, and put it back together in his dorm room was just one of the greatest.
I know, it's amazing. Or just even they put the microphone in his mouth and they, God,
Kent,
quit touching yourself, Kent. How amazing would that be? I would love to have done that to so many people in my life. So, Mark, have you seen Real Genius?
I've only seen pieces of it. My real introduction to him is What's Next.
Yeah, and this is the money right here, right? 1986, little indie film called Top Gun.
Little film.
Little itty bitty film.
Had some small time actors.
And you want to talk about launching yourself into stardom? Here's an example, right? This was I think it's the biggest movie in 1986. If not, it's got to be 2 or 3. But of course, Tom Cruise is Maverick. I almost wish that we were bookending the show with the 2 pieces of the Top Gun, but I'm fairly certain. Eric, you're a Top Gun fan?
I've seen it once or twice. Not today. I watched it once or twice today, but
right.
I once saw an article. A guy was writing about Top Gun. I think it was when the Top Gun 2 trailer came out, and he was talking about how he's a Top Gun aficionado, and he's talking about when he watches it, and he's like going through the seasons, and he goes through, and I'll have to try to find it, but I was like, And then the last line was like, and anytime it's on TBS, which is just about every other week. I'm like, yep, been there, done that. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, Top Gun's one of my all-time favorites. In fact, my kids yesterday, they asked, you talk about like really, really coincidental. My kids asked me like what my favorite movie was, and I said, well, I said I have two favorite. My two favorite movies are both are Val Kilmer movies. One is Tombstone. Is my number one, and Top Gun's my number two. So, and a lot of it has to do with Val Kilmer. I mean, he just was so good. Yeah. I wouldn't so much say in Top Gun, as much, but he played such a great character.
Everybody needed to play.
He really did, exactly. And I had read and kind of heard some behind the scenes stuff of his Top Gun experience, was that he had to kind of create a backstory for who he thought Tom Kazansky was, and so he thought that Tom was a guy whose father was a guy who ignored him as a child, and so that drove him to try and be the best at everything. Like he had to be the best, and so that's why he was as cool. Yeah, that's why he was as cool and collected as he was, and he was. I mean, that's some of the lines from the movie is, he's cool. And what does he say? He's Iceman. That's the way he flies, ice cold. He's bored, frustrated, do something stupid. He's got you. I mean, that's how he does it. It's like, and Kilmer played that, alongside of Rick Rosovich. And I saw another behind the scenes on that
Mr. Iceman to you.
Mr. Yeah, right. So Barry Tubb, who played Wolfman, or was it Hollywood, or I think he played Hollywood. He played Wolfman, I think. Those guys, they just said it was crazy, with all the dudes on that set. Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Rick Rosovich, like all those guys.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, like Jim going Robbins. Out, they were like all wild men. It was just a wild time. They just said it was so great, but yeah, I mean, his character was so cool in that movie, and you're like, okay, like I hate the Russians, like the Russians were the bad guys in it, but there's also this other dude, who's like, who
the bully,
and he's the bully, and you don't like him either, but it all works out in the end. But he's a really great opposite of. Our hero Tom Cruise in that movie of Maverick and stuff, because Maverick is the emotional. He flies emotionally, and Kilmer's character of Iceman flies more logic. Is more of a logic type guy, which in reality, I would imagine that Iceman's character is probably a lot closer to how real pilots. Fly. Real combat pilots actually fly. Navy pilots actually fly. Is a lot more methodical. Not that they're robots or anything like that, but you know what I mean. So, but yeah, Morg, what do you think?
I mean, that movie is.
We love our Top Gun. We love.
Yeah, it's the perfect male bravado movie. Everything about even when you're just.
That's with the big words tonight. I like it.
They're playing the volleyball. And their jean shorts and jeans, and it's such a crazy scene to just have in the middle of this movie. But you love every minute of it. You love every minute of it. And when they're at the bar, singing "You Lost That Love," like it's such a good movie. And Val Kilmer's performances, he played the role he was supposed to be perfect. Of just being that's what he is, that guy. When I always love when he's in Tom Cruise's face and he just does that bite, he's does that like something about that. It's just like that's just awesome, that was my first real introduction to him. Well, I guess it's something good.
Yeah. He didn't want to do Top Gun originally.
That's interesting.
Originally he didn't want to take the role. Like he went to Juilliard, right out of high school. He went to Juilliard, And so, like I said, he was kind of a stage guy. So for him, I think he said when he read the script, he was like, "This is dumb." It's like a silly movie or whatever, and all that. So, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, well, you make a blockbuster like this, and then you could go watch, you could go make all the artsy movies you want to do after that. It just it doesn't matter. So
and after Top Gun, he did a couple TV movies. Never heard of them. But then after the TV movies, we get to 1988 and another little indie movie called Willow comes out, and just one of those perfect 80s, just magical movies that came along. And Val Kilmer as
he was kind of a knight.
I was trying to think of his name. What was his name?
Mad Mardigan.
Mad Mardigan. Jeez, holy cow!
But his role is kind of like
I think I just saw too many names on my screen here.
But his character is kind of like a knight, isn't he? Like kind of.
I don't even know if you could say Val Kilmer's the best part about this movie, which is something rare from Val Kilmer, because just the whole entire world of Willow, which getting a new series coming out, it's just a magical setting. And you just us nerds remember back to our childhood watching Willow and how awesome it is. And I should probably revisit it soon with Penny, but I feel like if she got scared at some of the other 80s movies, she'd probably struggle with this.
Well, Warwick Davis is so good in that movie. It's a shame. I look back at you kind of look at him and you think, okay, well, he really paved the way for somebody, for other little people to really be able to thrive. Warwick, and then Tony Cox. Tony Cox, who was he was in Bad Santa. He played alongside in Bad Santa. Billy Bob. Thanks, Billy Bob Thornton. I just feel like he really kind of paved the way. Warwick Davis and then Tony Cox kind of paved the way for guys like what's it? Tyrion. I can't think of his name right now.
Peter Dinklage.
Really, Peter Dinklage to really have the success that he's had, because I think people have seen more and more, and you really can tip your hat to Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis and Willow, because they really made that okay. They started to you could take those people seriously. They weren't like a sideshow piece, especially Warwick Davis in this movie. His performance is actually really, really great in that movie, and Val Kilmer gets top billing, but Warwick is really the star of the movie and does a great job. Kilmer and the gal in the movie, Joanne Whalley, I think it was her last name, Joanna Whale. They ended up getting married in real life.
That's right. Yeah. He was like a ranger. He was like an Aragorn type.
Yeah, ranger. That's kind of what I was. That's a great description. That's a great description. Yeah.
I know more. You guys in PA love me some Willow.
Yeah. So one of these days I'm going to watch this.
You haven't watched it yet?
Oh man.
No.
Oh no.
No, I never did. So
what?
What? When you grow up, you watch a lot of what your family's going to watch. And Willow is just not one of, nobody in my family.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Yeah. Good to know.
And I want to. I've always intended to watch it, but I just never, it's one of those I want to watch it. And then I forget and go on to something else.
Fans out there should let me know if this is something they want. Because I was going to mention this with Top Gun and I thought about it. When we come up on the Top Gun show, what we could do is we could do a reaction to us watching Top Gun. If you ever watched these, a screening of or a video of a channel does the reaction to a movie they've seen a lot. It's actually a lot of fun, and I'd love to sit down and watch Top Gun with you guys in anticipation for Top Gun 2, and we give our commentary on it. And it's just a lot of fun to listen to. Definitely would love to do that as well for Willow before the Willow show comes out.
That'd be fun. If you have the ability to synchronize and watch all together, that would be cool. So,
we got to figure out the tech on that. It would be. I would just love to watch Top. Just give me an excuse to watch Top Gun. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So like you said, Eric, he went to Juilliard. He was wanting some kind of artsy fartsy roles. Got these fantasy roles, but along comes 1991, and just it was one of those moments in time where it's like we have an actor who could literally look exactly like a real person, and it's Val Kilmer in The Doors playing Jim Morrison, and he puts on just an all-time performance. I need to go see who won the Oscar that year, because I don't know how you couldn't have given it to him for that.
Oliver Stone's. Yep.
Oliver Stone.
I'll look that up. I'll look that up right now. So.
So I'll Morgan, is this a movie that your family watched and you had to watch it?
So this is a movie I had watched.
Okay.
And honestly, I can't remember why. I think it's one of those, like, it was on something and I just happened to, it was just on, and then I got invested in it because of Val Kilmer's performance. He's fantastic in it. It's one of, like you said, there's some people that can really just capture somebody. And he did that with this.
It's like the definition of embody, literally, like literally
exactly. Like if you showed that footage to somebody, that was a huge Jim Morrison fan, they would just like do one of those,
definitely make some people laugh.
It's a great movie. It's something everybody should watch. I don't know who won that year, but
I'm efforting that right now.
Eric's getting there. I'll say that up until tonight, literally tonight, I didn't know about the 27 Club. So Jim Morrison is part of this club. I use air quotes. Not a very fortunate club, but more like a club, like not a cool club like some people I know. But
Death Club.
27 Club is a group of musicians who died at the age of 27. Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. There's a fourth one in there from 1967 to 1972 or something like that, where these musicians were dying at 27. Crazy. It didn't have, and then it stopped all the way to I think it was 1991, and Kurt Cobain died when he was 27, and then it went to Amy Winehouse when she died in the late, maybe early mid 2000s. And she was 27. I think that is, I'd love to learn more, but if there was a documentary on that would be cool. I don't know. Eric, do you see who? I think we'd have to go to 1992's Best Actor.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. And I don't see it on the list of even being nominated for anything. And the reason being is that year was a banger of a year, 1991, and in fact it was not even
but you would have to go to 1992 because
we get like Silence of the Lambs then.
Yep, exactly. So the 1992 March 30th 1992, so your winner was for Best Picture Silence of the Lambs. You
Anthony
had
Hopkins won, but for Best
Actor. Oliver Stone had another movie out that year, little indie film he did called JFK.
Yeah.
So they're all right.
Not a good one.
Yeah, but
you had Robert De Niro, Cape Fear, Robin Williams, The Fisher King, Warren Beatty, Bugsy, and Nick Nolte in The Prince of Tides.
Yeah, with Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. That's a tough one to win. Actor in.
Right. So
I can't fault them.
Talk about the luck. That's how it goes,
you know what though? Still a snub in my mind. Hannibal Lecter's definitely an all-time character, so I can understand it.
Sure.
And I think we'll get to an even bigger snub. But before we get to Tombstone, we had an incredible movie, True Romance.
Hold on.
You got one?
Don't skip over.
Oh, Thunder.
Yeah. Don't skip over.
I'm sorry. I don't want to forget Thunderheart. I'll give it to you. You seem very excited about it.
Oh, well, you have like a couple of really fantastic actors along with Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's like primary, he's the primary in the movie, and basically the premise of the movie is that there's a woman found dead on an Indian reservation, and she a Native American reservation, and so Kilmer is an FBI agent who has Native American blood in him, and so he works with Sam Shepard, who another like phenomenally underrated actor. This movie is actually loaded.
Sam Shepard.
This movie is loaded with underrated actors. It really is. So you have Val Kilmer, you have Sam Shepard, and then he also kind of partners up with the local law enforcement, who is played by Graham Greene, another phenomenal actor that's completely underrated. And
just got cast in the Echo TV show, actually.
Yeah.
So
and then
Echo from Hawkeye.
So that's going to be pretty good, I think. Anything Graham Greene, I'm down with that. So
best Graham Greene role is still Die with a Vengeance, though.
Yeah. So anyhow, great. It's a really great movie. It's a really great movie. It's a really fun movie, and well, I shouldn't say fun movie, but it's a cool movie. And really anything that kind of promotes, at least for me, I think anything that kind of promotes Native American culture, and kind of giving you a look into the beauty and the religion, that those people have is something that I'm a huge fan of, and I really wish we would get more stories out of that. And so that one has a very kind of, I wouldn't say special place in my heart, but I really loved Thunderheart. I thought it was a really good.
Sounds like
film.
It does have a little special place in your heart.
It does. It does. I really like that movie, and I thought Val Kilmer was really good in it. So
again, I'm always looking for a new Val Kilmer movie. So I'll add that to the list. And then so then we get to True Romance.
True Romance, yeah.
Great movie. Again, maybe not like. I mean, clearly the best part of that movie is not Val Kilmer. I think that
Tony Scott again. He did top
Tony Scott, one of the greatest directors of all time. The best part about that movie is Dennis Hopper.
Yeah. How about the entire cast? That entire cast. You're talking about a giant cast.
Hopper walking in the diner is one of the all-time scenes. It's just a great movie. Who directed? Tony Scott. You said. I always feel like it has some like a Pulp Fiction-y vibe to it.
Very much so.
Yeah. Then where are we? True Romance. That was 1993.
Then the big one.
The big one in 1993.
The big one.
One of the greatest movies of all time. Eric, I'll pass it off to you.
Oh,
Tombstone.
Oh my gosh. Just an amazing performance by Val Kilmer as I don't know, do you say infamous or do you just say the famous Doc Holliday? Just
infamous.
Oh my gosh, he was so great. He was so great in this role. Bill Paxton again, is one of our all-time favorite guys. Sam
Kurt Russell's one of my all-time favorite guys.
Yeah, Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott. I mean, just like those four dudes together, it's like holy smokes,
movie magic.
You get them facing off against again, your villain. This is the theme that we always have.
Totally.
If you have really great villains, you're gonna do well. And Powers
alum.
Yeah, Powers Booth and Michael Biehn as your kind of two main villains. Oh my gosh, they just do such a great job, and then you get like Thomas Hayden Church and Stephen Lang. I mean, Stephen Lang is Ike Clanton. Like that is just you don't even like. A lot of people don't even realize that that's the dude from
that's right.
From Avatar, the bad guy in Avatar, but he's so good in it. But like the whole cast is so good. But the star of the movie, like even though Kurt Russell plays the Wyatt Earp character, Val Kilmer steals every scene that he's in. just and you talk about an infinitely quotable character. Almost everything out of his mouth is a gem.
Everything.
I remember I was having a conversation with as everyone knows, my Uncle Frank. We were having a conversation about stuff, and and we were talking about I won't give anything too much away, but we were talking about some stuff that they had kind of gone through, and so when Jackson was diagnosed with diabetes, I was talking to him about it, and just I was just struggling with some stuff, and we got to talking about it, and he said something. I said I just worry that it's it's not going to be a normal life or whatever. And he said, well, he's like, yeah, that's, well, what's normal? And then it popped in my head, the line from Kilmer in that is there's no normal life, Wyatt. There's just life, and it's like, just like, oh my gosh, even here it is, it's like 25, 30 years later, and I'm still digging nuggets from this movie out that I'm like, that's such a great line, and
that is a great line.
Yeah. So there's no normal life. There's just life, Wyatt.
Wow.
So
what a great callback to that movie.
Yeah.
Locke from Lost is
yes, he plays the town
sheriff.
No, that's somebody else. What is he's the mayor.
Is it a mayor or is it the mayor?
Yep.
I knew he was in charge of something. Yeah.
Yep.
So
he's the mayor.
Just an incredible movie, Morgan.
Oh yeah. It's everything about that movie is fantastic. And one of the best scenes is when he's doing all the gun tricks, and he's got his drink whiskey glass, and just it's fantastic. Everybody laughs at the bar.
It's impressive too. It's
he totally diffuses that situation. Like he could have escalated it, and he totally de-escalates the situation,
right?
So well.
It's such a good movie, and it's it's one of those, like, and that movie has special ties. Like, I've been out to Tombstone with my dad and seen it, so it's just everything about it is great and brings up good memories. So
I've been to the OK Corral myself. That was a pretty cool trip. Down there.
Yeah, it's really cool to go.
Going down there in July is a little dumb, but you want the real effects. You want to know what it was really like at OK Corral. Just go there July 4th weekend. It's perfect. You get the real
feel.
You're a daisy.
118 degree weather.
Just an all-time performance, and did not win supporting actor. Again, not quite sure who won for in 1994 for best supporting actor. If Eric, you want to pull that up real quick,
I'll see what I find.
As I tell the lead up to the next movie, because again, Val Kilmer's getting into a franchise movie, and he is cast as the new Batman. So we had a shift in Batman from Batman in '89, Batman Returns. You had Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, and this dark Batman. Batman Returns didn't do as well at the box office, so Warner Brothers and all their
Fugitive,
yeah.
And not even nominated though. It would have been nice to be nominated.
I cannot believe he wasn't nominated for that.
He's just
Simple Jack was nominated. I'm just saying it would have been nice to have been nominated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? From Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
it would have been nice to be nominated. It would have just been nice to be nominated. Simple Jack was nominated? No, I'm just saying it would have been nice.
I didn't even catch that. Good one.
Sorry.
Good job. But yes, he should have at least been nominated. I cannot believe that. Tommy Lee Jones, great performance.
That was a great.
Yes, Tommy. But he should have won for this next one.
He should have won. This is the biggest snub. So we had a shift by Warner Brothers saying, okay, we need it more colorful. We need more this, more that. They bring in Joel Schumacher instead of Tim Burton. They bring in Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne Batman, and it's just a completely, totally different take. And you know what? I dig it. I freaking love Batman Forever. I loved it when I was in 5th grade. I have loved it since. I've had my ups and downs with, what it is. Does it hold up? I watched it recently. It absolutely still entertains me to this day. And that's all I can ask out of a Batman movie. So when I rank like my most anticipated movies, I think I've said this before, of all time, like where was my hype level? I'll never forget. I was sitting in my grandparents' family room, and they were all talking, and the TV was on. And I remember I was staring at a lamp, and I just started quoting the trailer. And I remember my grandpa looking at my dad and being like, "What did he just say?" And I remember my dad was going, "He's just really excited for this Batman movie." And right. I'll never forget opening night, going to see it. Actually at the movie theater now, right where I live. It's now my adult theater. Let's change that wording. It's now where I see my movies as an adult. Sounds a little bit better. But Batman Forever, always a special place in my heart. I can't say enough good things. Sure, there's some real cheese about it, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So I know, Morgan, you love it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best. Overall, it's not the best movie. I understand, but it just holds a special place. I still have. It's funny. My son uses it. I should have brought it up. I still have a Batman Forever glass from McDonald's.
Yeah.
I still have it. It's in my cupboard. Like I still have it.
You still drink out of it.
Yeah, I still use it. And occasionally I'll use it for chocolate milk.
Does it have the logo on it? That's one of the best logos.
Oh, it is.
With the Riddler logo over the Batman logo.
Yep. It's so cool. But no, it was a different take on Batman. I mean, we went from like a cheesy Batman to a serious to kind of a cheesy mix there. He's a little bit of an underrated, I think, Batman character.
He's underrated.
He really is.
Yeah. He's underrated. For the movie that it is, he's very good.
Yeah.
He's a really
he played
good
what he was supposed to play. Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
Not in agreement here, Eric, huh? Are you muted?
Eric's muted.
You don't want us to hear your slander here, Eric?
I was trying to keep.
Or you click happy.
He knew he'd be upset. Yeah.
Clickbait.
I can't.
You can't.
I'm sorry.
You can't.
I can't. And it's not Val Kilmer's fault.
I'm not here to convince you.
Yeah, it's not Val Kilmer. Not Val Kilmer's fault
to watch.
It's just the style.
Yeah.
The style. The direction they took the movies in was just. I just didn't like it. Drew Barrymore, super hot in it. I
Sugar and Spice.
Didn't have a problem with that. So, but
Nicole Kidman
and it's not anybody, it's not anybody's performance in there. Tommy Lee Jones, Harvey Two-Face, I think, and Jim Carrey's Riddler. Again, the style of the movie, they go in a direction that I just wasn't a fan of. So
yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm not here. I don't try to convince anybody about it.
Yeah.
I just know I'll just never not love that movie. And, I missed the cape being important, and the cape is a very important thing in this movie. So
can't argue with you there.
And I love too with those, like kind of like the old Adam West, where they didn't really care about where he was getting stuff and gadgets, like the big scene where
there's no Lucius Fox or anything,
and he pulls out this this batarang that's 30 feet long, and chucks it over it. That where did that come from? There's no way he had that on him. It just but we were all like, yeah, whatever. It was
where does he get it? Yeah, that's what I really, really love. The Batman Begins, what it did for Batman is it really started showing how the batarangs came about, how the suit came about, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Because you watch these movies and you're thinking, okay, we have a billionaire in our midst who's very popular in the city. Only one person could freaking afford to fly a bat, the Batwing. Who else could that be? You know,
who else could buy a Batwing?
Yeah, who else could buy a Batwing? So I love it. That same year, another movie is released that Val Kilmer is in. Again, maybe not where he's the best part of the movie, but he delivers an incredible performance. But it's really the two main leads that carry the movie. Heat, one of the greatest action movies of all time. If you want to thrill a ride, throw on Heat. Eric, I know you are a big fan of this movie, right?
Yeah,
or
Michael. No. I think. So, you know, you have Val Kilmer as, you know, the guy wants to be taken serious. You know, he has a very serious actor side to him. He wants to be in really, you know, serious parts. So, Heat is an opportunity to do exactly that. You know, he plays this very cold character, very capable criminal, you know, and so he's surrounded by just an all-star cast, you know, and then directed by Michael Mann. I mean, it's stylistically, I love the style of this movie. I'm a big fan of Michael Mann's style, like how he shoots films and how he lights things and stuff. And so, you know, I mean, just the top cast in this whole thing is just amazing. You know, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, John Voight, Ashley Judd's in it. You know, I mean, just like an amazing cast and just such a it's just great. You know, it was just a great movie. It's so good. And I can't say enough good stuff about it. It just
one of the greatest just bank robbery scenes of all time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know, my only, like, if I have like one criticism of the movie, I guess is it just is super long. Like,
I was gonna say it's
3 hours. It's 3 hours long.
It affects the rewatchability on it.
It does.
It does. You watch it once and you're good.
Yeah, because you're like,
I mean, really or like every, I don't know, once a decade, maybe. I think I've watched it at least once a decade.
One of the most amazing things about that is this, you know, and this actually is a Val Kilmer piece of trivia, but there is a very intense scene between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro where they're in a diner together and they're having this conversation back and forth. That scene never took place in real life. Pacino filmed his by himself and Robert De Niro filmed his by himself. Like, they never sat across the table from each other and filmed that scene, which is to me, that's movie magic. Like that is movie magic right there. So
Tom Hiddleston does a great performance where he does both characters on the Graham Norton show. So always like plug into Graham Norton videos when I
love Graham Norton. Yep.
I love Graham Norton. And honestly, we've already talked about like two of the top 3 diner scenes of all time tonight.
Right.
Did I already go to you on Heat, Mark, or are we going to the next one?
I mean, I don't have much more to add. I mean, it's one of those, he isn't a big role in it. He does a good job. You know, the standouts are the leads.
More
and
it's got one of
the coolest shootouts in any movie ever.
Yeah, really is. Pacino and De Niro versus each other is amazing. So after Heat, the next year, maybe the first time
Dr. Moreau was lame. I mean, that was
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the first time where I was like, oh man,
this seems to be kind of
this one, you know.
But like Marlon Brando,
this seems to be when it starts to.
Well, I think that
I don't know. I mean,
I've never heard of Dead Girl.
I don't know that one.
The Ghost in the Darkness is a fantastic movie.
Awesome movie with him and Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, and the fact that it's a real story.
It is a real story. It is a real story.
Like, it's a story from 1898 where these 2 lions killed 130 people over a course of time in this village in Africa. And it's like, think about that for a minute. Like, you have these 2 lions terrorizing a village. 130 people died.
Yep.
Not all at once. It was like over a course of time.
Yeah, it was like it was over the course of like a year or so. Like they're building this, they're building this railroad in Africa. They're trying to build this railroad through Africa. And these two male lions, one's called the Ghost and the other one's called the Darkness. And they just pick people off all throughout the movie. They just pick people off.
Sounds like a good movie. It sounds very interesting. Yeah.
It's one of your classic two. And this is one of the reasons I have to shout this guy out. This is one of the reasons why we're doing this. Really lit the flame for me on this one. I've wanted to do it for a while, but definitely this one helped me. My colleague at work, Paul Dutton, shout out Paul. He did a 5-minute Toastmaster speech on Val Kilmer, and it was one of the best 5-minute speeches I've ever seen. And you know, he's talked to me about this movie being like a secret sauce kind of Val Kilmer movie. Yeah. And I love this movie. So shout out to Paul.
I think I talked to you about this movie too, didn't I? Didn't we have this conversation, or maybe not? But this has been one of my. It has secretly been. I should say secretly, but it is a sleeper Val Kilmer movie where you're like, holy smokes! And Val Kilmer's character grows so much during the process of this movie because he's right. Really just kind of this soft engineer guy who's there to build bridges. Like that's what he's there to do. And by the end of it,
really hardened.
Yeah, he's hardened. This hardened. Africa really hardens him, and this whole situation with these two lions really hardens him into. I wouldn't say necessarily a hunter, but as but he's involved in it because it's like he's not getting back to his wife and his baby if he doesn't solve this problem.
Right, so, right. Which I can totally relate to. If I was stuck in Africa, I would figure out a way to get back to my babies. So definitely watch it when you get a chance to more. Yeah, it's an incredible 90s style movie.
And here another fun movie.
The next year. Fun is a really great way of putting it because I was trying to figure out a way to classify what The Saint is when you watch it. It is fun. It's so much fun. You get to see Val Kilmer be, how many different people in the movie. I had already been in love with Elizabeth Shue since Adventures in Babysitting, but she is paint the wall hot in this movie. I could not take my eyes off her.
Yeah. She has a little heart condition in there, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're giving me a heart condition, Elizabeth. You're just like, oh my gosh. She was so great.
That was good.
She's so great.
That was a good one.
But Val Kilmer, his character is the Simon Templar, who is an orphan, and so he grows up playing a lot of different characters, and so during the thing he's like a master of disguise, and he's this off the grid guy who can get you things. So
and it's really it's why we don't get Val Kilmer in Batman and Robin. He wanted to make the Saint over Batman and Robin. He didn't like the script for Batman and Robin, but it was the Saint really is what drew him away from Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the only time I've ever seen where you could make a Volvo cool. Like they have like what
Volvo Jason Bourne did for Mini Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. They have a Volvo C70 coupe that they made. You know, all they'd done is always done 4-door cars, and they were always like these boxy, just that, you know, they have this reputation to be this super safe boxy car. And when they came out with that C70, I was like, oh my gosh, that car is sweet looking, you know, but they only did the hard top for a couple of years, and then they moved into a rag top, and that sold for a really long time. The C70 convertible was actually a really great car for a long time, but Val Kilmer made a Volvo cool. That's how good that guy is.
That's how good. Yeah, he's good. He's real good.
He is.
But the soundtrack, it's just a soundtrack. Yeah, I think it's more the soundtrack to that one is, although I did like the score, there's a really cool score theme to it.
Yeah.
Well, it
was in that like mid 90s era where even Batman Forever had a better soundtrack than it did a score.
Yeah.
Although it was still Batman's Danny Elfman's score in Batman Forever, so it wasn't it wasn't anything new, but it was the soundtrack around that time.
Seal's big hit.
Seal, U2 had a big one in big song out of that album. So anyway, The Saint is a movie that. Did I go to you, Morgan? Sorry, I don't want to. I just had a feeling I missed you. I did.
I'm realizing I'm not as big as a Val Kilmer guy as I thought I was. As we go through the list, I'm like, geez, I thought I saw a lot more of his stuff than I
did. We got some homework to do. Well, it really changes for us here, for me at least, after this movie, The Saint.
It's next for me.
Where I feel like, at least in my opinion, he didn't do a whole lot. We had Red Planet was supposed to be a big movie. It bombed.
Did you guys not watch? Did you not watch Prince of Egypt? So I mean, it's an animated.
I did, but I don't really.
I mean, he can't really.
Dude, guy is Moses really and the voice
Williams.
Yeah, but he's Moses and the voice of God. So like that's like.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I got to tip my cap to him and go, you know what? Yeah. Great job. And that is my stepdaughter, Lexi. That is one of her favorite movies of all time.
Oh, really? I've seen it. It's good. It was, I mean, only Robin Williams is going to be able to make a magical animation performance. You know?
Yeah. No, for sure. But The Prince of Egypt is a really good movie. And Val Kilmer's Moses and voice of God stuff is actually very, very good. So but after that it's kind of a I don't want to call it like downhill. No.
But not.
It's kind of like that Bruce Willis where he's just making a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Blind Horizon didn't do well. Wonderland. I feel like there's 1,000 movies called Wonderland. Is that the music one?
Right.
Yeah, that one bombed. And so we get to, was Mindhunter something? I'm trying to think.
No, 2005.
I'm thinking he did have a cameo on one of our all-time favorite shows, Entourage. Incredible show if you ever watched that. But then we get to 2005 and maybe a bit of a redemptive role, but it didn't seem to last too much for him. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I will always put this as my number one most underrated movie I've ever seen in my life. It is incredible. Robert Downey Jr. saved Robert Downey Jr. It's not really what got him his stardom because it was Iron Man, but it was because of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang that he got that role because they loved him so much in this role. But Val Kilmer's Gay Perry, my gosh, and yes, he's gay in the movie, but his name is Gay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He returns to his comedic form in this movie, and it's Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, and what's her name?
Bridget Moynahan.
Is it Bridget Moynahan? Not Bridget Moynahan. No. It's Michelle Monaghan.
That's right. Yeah,
from the Mission Impossible movies.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Just such an incredible mystery movie with some of the most incredible smart humor. I know I've said that term before on the show, but smart humor.
And we get kind of a return of a guy we haven't seen in almost 20 years, really. In anything, and that's it's kind of a comeback for a lot of people because you get Shane Black. Shane Black is he hasn't really done much since Lethal Weapon and Predator. Like he really hasn't done much as far
directing and writing.
Right.
Not an actor.
Yeah. And so he dials it up with with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and it was like holy smokes. Just great stuff.
I know. I love that movie. Have you seen Morgan?
I have seen that. And yes, it is a good movie.
I love it. It has 2 or 3 scenes that are side-splitting funny moments in the movie, and they all involve Val Kilmer. So But Robert Downey Jr. definitely is excellent in that movie as well.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? From the rest of his resume, we don't get the big, huge movies. Maybe you would say he started going down the Nick Cage route or the Bruce Willis route, doing a bunch of
just doing
small stuff.
Yeah,
doing some work. He did voice Kit in the Knight Rider TV show in 2008, which that bombed. But then we get to 2010. He gets to get back into his comedic form.
Yeah,
and he's in the movie MacGruber. And his character's name might be the best part of the whole entire movie. He plays a character named Kuntz. And he is a real see you next Tuesday, if you know what I mean.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I can't. I just think that's so dumb. So great.
It's so dumb. It's so
simple and dumb, but like
I love it.
But again, movie. It does not take its tough. It is.
You know what it is, yeah.
Right.
You know what it is. And you either like that,
MacGyver.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you either like it or you move on. But so there's Kuntz in 2010. He did play Joe. I'm just reading this because I cannot remember his last name, but it's Joe Manditsky in Kill the Irishman, which was a really good mafia movie, kind of around the time where it went from like Italian mafia movies to Irish mafia movies. A lot of great actors in that movie. The usual suspects, I guess you can say. But then he, you know what? Funny enough, Spider-Man: Edge of Time, he voiced a character in that game. Really great game. Spider-Man: Edge of Time. That's what there was two Spider-Man, right? I think. Morgan, do you remember that game? Is that the two Spider-Man game?
I don't quite remember that one.
I feel like it's
PlayStation game. I would have only played it at the.
Yeah. Oh no, it's where you get to be 2099 and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Peter Parker. Yeah. Great game.
He does
the other one that where you get to be the 4 Spider-Man. That's one of my famous Spider-Man games. What are you saying, Eric?
Oh, I was just gonna say he after where is it? After the Spider-Man stuff, he did he was in Planes. He voiced one of the characters named Bravo from him and
to Cars,
yeah. So the Planes is like Cars. But he was Bravo in that one, along with Anthony Edwards, who plays the other guy, Echo. So they're like a demonstration team, a flight demonstration team, and so that was kind of cool to kind of doing his Iceman's voice back. Doing his Iceman voice again and stuff. But so he. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just because, I mean, there's not much left, but the story that you were going to tell about Psych, I wanted to make sure you had time for that.
Yeah. So you guys get 2 Psych stories in these episodes this week, which is kind of funny. So again, one of my favorite shows is Psych, and so the show is loaded with like 80s and 90s references. Like they have for the most part, they have the entire Brat Pack on the show throughout the series. So they have like Molly Ringwald and Ali Sheedy and Judd Nelson, and they bring in Daniel LaRusso himself. They bring him in, and so throughout all 8 seasons of the show, they always make these references to Val Kilmer as like like they just love Val Kilmer, and so they like everything is this. And so as the series goes on, there is a call to a character off screen that you never see. They never introduce the actor, nothing. And so, but there'll be a scene where like the head detective or the chief is like, "Hey Dobson, I need SWAT team. I need to get the SWAT team," or Dobson, give me the files on this. And so so this character is like, for 8 years, you hear this character Dobson get called out on, and you never see this character until the last episode of the season. Sean, the primary character, hands out these DVDs that he's made to people. And so you see this scene where you're looking over the shoulder of somebody watching the screen, and Sean's like, you know, he says, I know we didn't talk all that much, but you always seemed like a guy that I would idolize as like a kid, and then maybe a teenager, and then probably into my 20s, and really just somebody that I probably would idolize like for my whole life, you know. And then they cut to the other guy come back in, and then it turns back around, and it's Val Kilmer, and he goes, hey, Dobson, can you look at this for me? And he goes, what are you watching? And he goes, I don't know. Like, the guy barely talks to me in 8 years, and then he leaves me this DVD. I don't understand what it is, but it's like they're great. It's this fantastic cameo in the show. Great. Like an 8 year buildup, awesome. And to have him be Dobson, awesome. And so the behind the scenes stuff, they talked about how generous he was, and how excited he was to do that scene. And he flew up, you know, because they filmed the show in Canada and stuff. And so he flew up for like one day to film this scene. And he, you know, just everybody on set was just like, he just was just a wonderful person. So, yeah. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Great
cameo.
Cool.
That would be what a great payoff, you know.
Yeah, for sure. 8 years. I mean, an 8 year build up, and to have it be him, you know, it was like, oh my gosh, this awesome. Is so great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
One day I'll have to get into that shit, because I know a lot of people love it. You love it, so it's
oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah. And they make a lot.
They're a good duo.
They are a good duo. Yep.
Much like, you know, some of our favorite shows like Willow, Scrubs, there's a great duo in that, so on and so forth. Great duos make a great show. After that, there wasn't much from him in terms of big stuff. And I don't remember exactly when he got diagnosed with the throat cancer, but definitely put a damper on things. And there's a great documentary, about an hour and 45 minutes or so, detailing, you know, the 30 years of Val Kilmer that we've gotten, and how the throat cancer affected his life and career. And it's tragic. For sure. Yeah. We had a real talent on our hands, and, you know, we will be getting him returning in, I almost called it Iceman 2, in Top Gun Maverick, which I feel like is supposed to release this year, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Nope, it's supposed to, right?
That's right. In May something, I think.
May 27th. May 27th.
I won't believe it till I'm there in the
right. Yeah.
I've been robbed of this movie.
Till I'm there in IMAX watching it.
Right.
How is this movie not leaked in 2 years? I think that's the most incredible thing.
Yeah.
So very excited for Top Gun Maverick. I really am interested to see how they play him into the story. You know, I have this like picture in my head of when like Steve Rogers went and visited Peggy in the nursing home. You know, and it's
Maverick's
like,
gonna go.
Maverick's, you know, like,
Iceman in the
I couldn't leave
home.
my best girl behind, you know, and he's talking like Iceman or something. I don't know, but very excited for that movie. I know Eric's got, you know, what's the highest hype level you can have?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Loki Boney.
Yeah. It's Loki Boney and Obi Boney.
Right.
Combined.
This one I am off the charts excited for. In fact, I've had flights. I had a flight booked to take my dad to see this movie back in 2020 when it first came out, and we literally canceled like the week before when we found out the movie was gonna get pushed, and we were like, I was so disappointed. You know, and then it got pushed again. So I actually am going to book my tickets to go out. I'm getting ready to book my tickets to go out in early June to see it with my dad and my brother. Nice. So it'll be nice. You know, it'd be nice to get to see it. So yeah. Can't wait.
I'm serious about let's figure that tech out on doing a live reaction to Top Gun, because that would be
that would be super cool.
Maybe we'll even include Meg to get the female perspective. I don't know, she wants to be around us dudes watching Top Gun.
My wife will watch the volleyball scene. So
yeah, just bring her in for the volleyball.
I feel like I'd be more into the scene than my wife would be. She's just like, it's so stupid. She's like, this is stupid. Why are they doing this?
Get out of here!
Like, be quiet. Why?
We went to. They had a re-release a few years back, I think, in the theaters, and I took my wife, because my wife's a huge Top Gun fan too. She loves it, so we went to the theater and watched it together, and that was super cool. It was, to see it on the big screen like that again. I've got a pretty big screen here at the house.
I don't know if that came around me, because I don't remember that happening. So I
watched it. We went down to the theater in Broomfield, the AMC theater down there. They had it on one of the IMAX screens, and we watched it. And it was.
I have seen it on film on the run. So that was cool.
Oh yeah. I bet that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, this is such a great flick. Really.
So good. I just am. I honestly, I can't. I'm not. When I see it on the screen finally, I'll know I'm not dead, because
pass the torch.
My heart's going to be racing. So looking forward to that. All right. So that's Val Kilmer's incredible film career. Obviously, we're robbed from having it more, getting more from him, but he wasn't really doing much before the throat cancer. I don't know what, maybe we could have gotten an old Val Kilmer, redemptive, another redemption story from him.
He did have
a sequel to his own redemption.
Yeah, he did have to rebuild his own voice. Like, he had to learn, had to relearn how to talk. That's how bad that throat cancer was for him. So
wild.
Real, where I really connect with that story is the father-daughter aspect. His daughter is incredible. So. I
haven't seen that doc. I need to watch it.
It's really good. Really good. I highly recommend it. The next part that we'll cap off the show with, we're going to give our top 3 Val Kilmer performances not named Doc Holliday and Tombstone. So I think we could all agree that Doc Holliday is his greatest performance. Obviously, we talked about him being snubbed for the Oscar. So, Eric, I'm going to start with you, and I'll go to Morgan, or you pass it off to Morgan, and then Morgan passes it off to me, and we'll go with our top 3 Val Kilmer performances not named Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
Yeah. So I'll start with number 3. I loved him in, like I said, I think I kind of talked about it before, but I really loved him as Ray in Thunderheart. I really, really dig that movie. I think it's a really cool movie. Iceman.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, Iceman is my number 2 with Top Gun. And then honestly, like I it's not because I didn't think that character was really great or didn't think that was really cool. I just thought his performance in The Ghost in the Darkness was probably my favorite behind.
It's a really good list.
Yeah, behind Tombstone. Just my favorite.
Sure.
So
Sure.
the Doc Holliday is my favorite of his, but I will say that his performance in The Ghost in the Darkness is really just a great movie. So good, and a great.
It really is.
So yep.
And Michael Douglas is really good.
Yeah, he really is. Yep. They play off each other really well.
Oh yeah. There's a good dichotomy between the two. More, you got your top 3 there, not named Doc Holliday.
Yeah, and it's well, I won't give any preference to this, but so number 3 again. It's not a good movie, but it holds a special place in my heart. His performance in it, Batman Forever.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, he's done better, but there's just something about it. I'll never forget it. Number 2, Jim Morrison, The Doors. He did a fantastic job. We talked about it. He was fantastic at that. So I can't fault him at all in that performance. And then number 1, again, this just comes down to just because I love it so much, Top Gun. I mean, he's not, the lead in it, but it's just, I think a lot of this just comes down to the movies that just meant a lot to me. So not so much his performance, but Top Gun. You know, he's fantastic in his part, and I can't wait to see him in Maverick.
We didn't share our list beforehand, and when I started the show, I talked about a Venn diagram of our love of Val Kilmer. And I think our lists really highlight that, because number 3 for me is Batman Forever. So that's a crossover between you and me, Morg. It's just it's just going to be a performance I will always love. I just will never not hate that movie. But number 2 is Gay Perry and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think that when you go back and you watch this movie, and you got to really appreciate Val Kilmer's humor in this movie. It is top notch, and if you're not laughing, you're not
so dry, so dry,
so dry,
so deadpan. It's just great. Yeah.
There's a line about him calling Robert Downey Jr. an idiot, and I just can't think of what the line is, but it's so good. And then my number 1 not named Doc Holliday in Tombstone is Chris Knight in Real Genius. I will forever also love this movie for numerous reasons. My dad showed me this movie when I was young, and I didn't really get it, but what I did get is Val Kilmer's performance. And he made me laugh as a kid, as an adult. I think you summed it up perfectly, Eric. His unbelievably fast wit is what really makes the movie. But I also love the just the crazy nature of that movie. Laszlo living in the basement.
Right. Yeah. Right. That comes out of the closet. There's a guy that lives in my closet. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's Laszlo. You know, he's so he's so nonchalant about it.
Like, you know what? You don't have a guy living in your closet?
Right. And that's like how the whole thing is. And you know what? My buddy Paul, he showed me there's deleted scenes that I haven't seen from this movie. So I'm excited to go out and try to find these things.
Yeah.
There's one where he's like on a lawn chair and balloons are holding him up, and he's like, this was never in the movie, but there's this from like the trailer or something.
Oh wow. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to find those. Yeah. That'd be super cool.
New Real Genius scenes, but also was it in the rundown when you talked about appointment television?
Yes.
The weight that was lifted off my shoulders earlier has nothing on the absolute weight that was lifted off my shoulders. It was about a 5-year weight that was lifted off my shoulders one day watching Apollo 13. Just loving that movie. One guy in that movie, I am like, I know this guy. I know this guy. I know this guy. And you know when you are like, I gotta figure this out. that like itch you have to figure out where you know this person from, or this actor. And this is back in the 90s. I logged, you can't just go on IMDb and be like,
or Googling it.
Actor?
Yeah.
Right.
Forever. And I'm talking like from the time I watched Apollo 13 in 1996 till like I was a senior in high school, did I figure out that Mitch from Real Genius is in Apollo 13?
Yeah.
And the weight that was lifted off my shoulders that day was, I was floating. Like you can't. I can't. And then I forgot that it was him, and I watched Apollo 13 like 5 years later down the road. I'm like, who's that guy? And then,
that's so funny.
So it's just funny. I'm sure some people can relate to like that.
Oh yeah.
I know Meg talked about it when she was on. She was like, "Oh, who's that actor?" We can do that now. We can just we can. It's almost a game from we can. It's almost a game for me now as a nerd, where you just are just like, I'm gonna figure this out on my own. Don't tell me.
I do that all the time. As Stacy, I'm like, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Like she'll look it up, and I'll be like, I don't want to know who it is.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out. I'll figure it out on my own.
Yeah, and it almost makes it harder when you're like, don't look it up, because then you start like just getting locked in, and you're like, I wish somebody would have said something, but Val Kilmer, we here at the Nerd Rundown salute you on a fantastic career, on for sure giving us some of the best characters of all time. You want to talk about that term gets thrown around a lot. Best character actors of all time, Val Kilmer is up there for me. He will always have a special place in my heart for some of the roles. Doc Holliday, Iceman.
Yes.
Chris Knight.
Sure.
Bruce freaking Wayne. He's in the pantheon of nerds. So just because of one performance,
Dobson. Dobson.
And it's almost like you. I don't know if it's you wearing the Jurassic Park shirt or just the name Dobson. Dobson, we got Dobson here. We
got Dobson here.
Dobson, we got Dobson. See, nobody cares.
So, love digging in on Val Kilmer with you guys. Thank you very much for helping me scratch that Val Kilmer itch I've had for a while. And you guys gave some really great insight. Morgan, you got some homework to do, my man.
I know. I got a lot to watch.
Top secret.
I usually end up watching.
Yeah, I got my own movies that I've got to watch as well. So,
Top secret.
And Eric, you probably should watch Batman Forever again. Just
Well, yeah. I'll have to see if I can find a turtleneck.
The Steve Jobs turtleneck that he wears in that movie.
And have my.
It's me, Harvey. Right hair.
We can say goodbye quoting that movie. I can quote Batman Forever. I mean it has laundry karate in it. So how can you get better than laundry karate?
He's doing his laundry.
Intruder alert! Shout out!
That's how I knew he was going to be Robin.
The laundry karate.
The laundry karate. Alfred went. I need to make that man a suit.
Just when he wrings out the shirt with his toes.
I know.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week, and everybody out there. We'll see y'all next week on the Rundown Presents.
Yes.
See ya.
Deuces.